Hello, Antonia Rolls here. I'm creating a series of small videos on navigating the landscape of loss after the deaths of my two sons, Kostya, who is here, aged 29, and Dmitri, who is here, aged 27. Um, Today I want to talk about the darkness. I do talk a lot about light and dark, and I think that the darkness is very insidious and very subtle and clever. And though I say we know the light is there, often we don't know the light is there. We've forgotten. Um, I think that no matter how dark things are, one of the greatest achievements of the dark is to make us convinced that there is no light. I've spent the last couple of years working through this landscape of deep grief and loss, and I've noticed how the darkness tries to work its way into my life and to make me stumble, fall, and stay down. The darkness is very clever. The darkness is cleverer than any human. It's been around longer than we have. It is so intelligent, and it feeds on our despair. It feeds on our distress, and it needs us. It needs us to be devastated. However, however, it makes us devastated and despairing, it will do that. And if it doesn't press this button, it'll press that one. If it doesn't work this way, it'll keep going until it gets you. And most of us have no idea how insidious the darkness is. For me, I don't know about you, but the darkness works in making me doubt that I was ever a good mother. The darkness shows me memories, makes me remember things of my past with the boys, bringing them up, and it makes me dwell on things that I don't think I did well at all, and there are plenty of things that I didn't do well. But what the darkness does is it focuses on that, and it says to me, this is all you were. This is all you were. You were a bad mother. And yes, I was at times a very bad mother. Aren't we all bad at bringing up our children from time to time? Some of us less, some of us more. And I was a single mother of 3 children, and one of my boys, Kostya here, was a difficult child and diagnosed with Asperger's in the 1990s, where not a lot was known about it. His behaviour was really challenging, and I myself was only maybe 3 months more emotionally mature than any of my children. That's how it felt. I didn't know what I was doing. I had no money. This child ran me ragged, and this poor one, he got ignored because if he didn't cry, then I thought he was okay. My daughter was very powerful and strong. She is happily married with 4 children and a lovely husband. I I respect and honour her choices not to be crazy and chaotic like I was, and I love her very much. But the darkness also tells me that she is a lot better than I am. She deserves happiness, but I don't, because I couldn't stop Dmitri from hanging himself and Kostya from living over a decade of crazy addiction with drugs and alcohol, and eventually dying alone in his flat on his sofa in the middle of the night. Yeah, so what kind of mum am I? So the darkness fills my mind with punishment, self-punishment. It tells me I have to do the punishment. It tells me I am no good. It says, you know you're no good. You know that you let your children down. Remember all those times you didn't see what they needed and you overlooked it and you went off doing your own thing? Well, what do you expect? You are hopeless. So this is one of the ways the darkness comes for me, because I'm aware, I'm aware of the power of the darkness intellectually, and I'm aware of the power of the light intellectually. And actually, I've experienced darkness and I've experienced great light. But the darkness knows that. It says, well, we're not going to make her cry all the time. We're not going to make her sort of can't say her children's names. What we'll do, we'll fill her with doubt, and we will make it difficult for her to be silent in her own company, on her own in her house. We'll just make it difficult, and somehow this will drive her down into despair, and that is where we want her. So I came back from a time away with my relatives recently. And when I arrived back here, I was aware of how much better I felt, because I live alone in my house here. I was aware of actually a real feeling of hope, and this feeling, oh my goodness, perhaps I'm not that bad. And you know what I think that was connection. That was actual connection with people who love and care for me. And I don't have to explain anything to them because they know me, they're my family. And they also know what happened to the boys, but they didn't see me as a bad person. They didn't see me as a bad mother. They saw the situation as utterly tragic, which it is. And they saw me as normal, sad, dealing with difficulty, but normal. How amazing is that? They didn't tell me I was normal, they just treated me like I was. And I am normal. But what the darkness, forgive me, what the darkness does is it takes away your perspective, and it brings you memories and thoughts that are filled with guilt and shame. And guilt and shame are terrible things. They bring you down. I mean, shame is a terrible thing. You don't want to talk about your shame because you are ashamed. The things you are ashamed of, whether they're real or not, whether they are accurate or not, are too embarrassing and too appalling and too painful to articulate. So you don't tell anybody them. You just carry them and hope nobody will notice or know. And guilt, oh my goodness. It's good to feel that you've done something wrong and then to put it right. It's good to understand that things I, for example, have done in the past, they weren't good, and they had consequences, and they belong in the past because I can't do anything about them now. But guilt carries a kind of huge black cloud over your head, and it says you did this thing, you did these things, you thought these things, therefore you don't deserve any light. You have to carry this around, and don't ever think you can put this cloud down or you can come through it. Don't ever think that. You just have to beat yourself up about it all the time. Well, another way the darkness can get to me is to make me insular. I am in my studio right now because I'm an artist, and the darkness says, why bother? Why bother? Don't go in there and do anything because you know you don't want to. Why don't you just sit down? Why don't you just do nothing? Why don't you give up? And sitting down and doing nothing is a really good thing to do sometimes. But there has to be a balance. But the darkness helps me to forget balance. And it helps me to become insular, isolated, and hopeless in my house. Because I didn't save the boys. Because I didn't do the right things. Other mothers, plenty of them, I see them everywhere. Their children are alive. Even if their children are really badly behaved, the children are alive. And I the darkness says, well, even though those children are badly behaved and the mothers are not very good, they're better than you, and so are their children. This is so destructive. So what do I do? What do I do about it? I have a faith. I'm Catholic, and I pray. But sometimes I can't pray because the darkness has told me that God won't listen. I'm just a bad person. When I finished being ashamed, then I can pray. When I finished being guilt-ridden, then I can pray. No. That's not the case. That's not the case. Here is where the light comes in. When I am deeply in these moments of darkness, I have learnt to remember that I have a choice, that I do have a choice, even though the darkness is telling me, no, you don't have a choice, you're just rubbish. I do have a choice, and I can remember in these moments, actually, yes, there is the light, and the intention to remember that there is the light can be a circuit breaker. Another thing I often say is, when I am down in this kind of place, find a source of light and look at it. Because often I can't do anything else. I cannot think, well, I'll go and, say a prayer, or I'll phone a friend, or I'll have a cake. I can't do those things because I'm in the darkness, and the darkness holds us like this. But I know if I find a source of light, it can be anything. It can be light on my earring, the reflection. It can be a candlelight. It can be daylight. It can be sunlight. It can be the light playing on Dimitri's jacket here. Find a source of light and look at it. That helps me. The other thing which I do, which is very simple, is I come back into the present. Where am I now? Where am I now? Right back into the present, into the now, into the right now, into the now. Where am I sitting? What am I wearing? What do my feet look like in my shoes? What are my hands like? Well, right now they're covered. We can't see it very much. They've got silver paint on them. Where am I sitting? What am I looking at? What's in front of me? What can I smell? So come right back into the present. If I do that, then I can reground myself, and I can tell myself then that the past is over. And sometimes we have an idea about ourselves which we are really fixed to. We are fixed to this idea, and it's not true. The idea is actually not true. And we carry this idea, I am a bad mother, I couldn't save my children. I carry that idea around with me because I believe it's true, but actually it's not true. How could it be true? How could it be true? I myself am not a bad person. I'm just a human. I make mistakes. But I am not the hopeless, selfish, stupid, ignorant fool that the darkness insists that I am. And there were plenty of times where the boys and I laughed and got it right. There are plenty of times. So that idea I have that I'm no good is not true. It's a lie. And something that the darkness is good at is lying. It lies to us. So I come back in the present. I recognize that this idea that I'm having is not true. I look for a source of light. And I say to myself, the light has never left me. It's never left you. It's never left any of us. The light is always there. The light is always loving and looking at us. It's always available, and we can call on it. Now, coming back to me being a Catholic, I am a Catholic and I do have a faith. But I have to work at that too, because if God is a good God, how come he got those two to die so badly in front of me, practically? I found Kostya and he was cold, and I remember thinking, if I put a blanket on him, will I warm him up? I found Dmitri hanging and I cut him down, and he died in my arms on the way down. Thanks, God. Cheers. You know, what have I done to deserve that? Well, I haven't done anything to deserve it. It's not, I don't understand why it happened, but God is good. And those boys, their lives were so appalling, so riven with alcoholism, mental health, paranoia, schizophrenia. They're not diagnosed with schizophrenia, but they both heard voices and saw things. That their deaths, if I believe in my good God, are a blessing to them. There is nothing that can hurt them now. And when I remember my faith, I tell myself this. I say, well, yes, they've finished their pain. Where they are now is in the most wonderful rehab, up in the light, 100% success rate. They will have everything they ever needed to recover, find joy, be loved, understand that their dance on this earth was, for whatever reason, tragic. But it's no longer tragic. It's not tragic now. And I find comfort in that, and I find comfort in the fact that I don't have to be tragic either. I'm not tragic. Like I say, I go down into the darkness, but I'm not tragic because why be tragic? I could stay in the darkness for the rest of my life. What good am I to anyone? I have grandchildren. I have a daughter, a son-in-law. I have friends. I have paintings. These are things to live for. I'll never forget my boys. I pray for them daily. Daily I pray for them. I say a rosary every day for these two boys. And I guess I just want to end by saying that the darkness is clever, and it comes for us in ways that we can't articulate. And its aim is to bring us down and keep us down. And it tells us lies, and it makes us believe those lies, and it makes us tell ourselves lies. But the darkness never wins. The light always wins. And if you're struggling in any way, just remember, you don't have to do anything. Just remember, the light is always there, and it loves you, and it cares, and you can't do anything about it. You are loved, you are important, and the light cares no matter what that darkness tells you. Mostly what it's telling you is a lie. God bless. More soon.